Hello and welcome to Clearview Television News, reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. In the news, Nigerian Army speaks up on the killing of 3 policemen and a civilian by soldiers in Taraba State, blames it on mistaken identity. Elder statesman General Yakubu Gowon calls for stronger measures and collaboration of all Nigerians to save the nation's future generation from the malady of drug abuse. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials raid Mississippi, arrest about 700 illegal migrants. I am Rose Audu with the details of this and many more. The Security Council, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari Thursday, held closed-doors meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, where a committee was set up to investigate what they described as unfortunate killing of 3 police intelligence officers in Ibi, Jalingo, Taraba State. Speaking to State House correspondent after the meeting, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, said that the council decided to set up a committee to investigate the unfortunate incidents in Ibi, Taraba State. According to him, the committee will be constituted under the Defense Headquarters to unearth the truth on the incident. Now, the report.
The Air Chief also said that the Council evaluated the current strategy of managing internal security operations all over the country and was satisfied with the current efforts being made by the security agencies to curtailing crimes in the country. Asked if the Council discussed the issue of using technology and drones to fight crimes as earlier pledged to the Southwest leaders, the Chief of Air Staff said technology will continue to play a very critical role in resolving security challenges in Nigeria.
Well, technology will continue to play a very critical role in resolving security challenges in Nigeria. All the services are using one form of technology or the other in order to ensure that our country is secured. So technology will continue to play a role, and we are also looking at other areas of technology that are not currently in use to ensure that we put together all that is required to ensure security of Nigeria and Nigerians.
In a statement in Abuja on Wednesday, police spokesman DCP Frank Mba confirmed that 1 police inspector, 2 sergeants and a civilian died as a result of gunshot injuries sustained in the attack. The police operatives led by ASP Felix Adolije of the Intelligence Response Team reportedly came under attack while taking a kidnapped kingpin, Alhaji Hamisu, to the command headquarters in Jalingo. The incident happened on Tuesday, August 6th. However, in response, Army spokesman Colonel Sagiru Musa said the shooting was done in error because the soldiers mistook the victims for kidnappers while responding to a distress call. The statement signed by Musa reads, on August 6, troops of 93 Battalion Nigerian Army Takum pursued and exchanged fire with some suspected kidnappers who indeed turned out to be an intelligence response team from the police force headquarters Abuja on a covert assignment from Abuja, resulting in the death and injury of some members of the team. On the 6th of August 2019, the said Nigerian Army troops, while responding to a distress call to rescue a kidnapped victim, exchanged fire with the suspected kidnappers along Ibi-Wukari Road in Taraba State. The suspected kidnappers, numbering about 10 and driving in a white bus with registration number Lagos MUS 564 EU, refused to stop when they were halted by troops at the 3 consecutive checkpoints. The flagrant refusal of the suspected kidnappers to stop at the 3 checkpoints prompted a hot pursuit of the fleeing suspects by the troops. It was in this process that the suspected kidnappers, who were obviously armed, opened fire at the troops periodically, thus prompting them to return fire. In the resultant firefight, 4 suspects were shot and died on the spot, while 4 others sustained various degrees of gunshot wounds and 2 others reportedly missing. It was only after this avoidable outcome that one of the wounded suspects disclosed the fact that they were indeed policemen dispatched from Nigerian Police Force Headquarters Abuja for a covert assignment. However, following injuries from a police station officer who was asked by the commander of the army troops whether he was aware of any Nigerian police team being dispatched to operate in the local government area. The divisional police officer of Ibi Police Division responded that he was not informed about any operation by the Nigerian Police Force headquarters, thus lending credence to the distress call from members of the community that the suspects, who turned out to be policemen on a covert mission, were rather suspected kidnappers. This incident is indeed quite unfortunate and could have been avoided through proper coordination and liaison, as the Nigerian police force are partners in the fight against crimes such as kidnapping amongst myriads of other internal security threats confronting the nation, of which the Nigerian police is the lead agency. In order to avert future occurrences of this nature, the Army headquarters and the Force headquarters of the Nigerian police have agreed to constitute a joint investigation panel to be headed by the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Criminal Investigation Department, DIG Mike Ogbezi, to jointly investigate and report on the true circumstances surrounding the unfortunate incident. Therefore, until the joint investigation panel concludes and submits its report, it will be premature to officially conclude and speak on the real circumstances that caused this unfortunate but very avoidable unfortunate incident.
The Federal High Court in Abuja, presided over by Justice Taiwo, has granted permission to detain the publisher of Sahara Reporters and convener of Revolution and Protest, Omoyele Sowore, for 45 days, ruling on an ex parte application by the Department of State Services, DSS. Justice Taiwo held that the detention order would be renewable after the expiration of the first 45 days on September 21. The DSS, whose operatives arrested Sowore last weekend, had earlier in the week applied for permission to keep Sowore for 90 days to investigate him over his call for revolution ahead of the Revolution and Protest, which held in some parts of the country. The DSS anchored its application on the provision of Section 27, subsection 1 of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act, ruling on an ex parte application by the DSS without counter-argument by Sowore's legal team. Justice Taiwo said he had to grant the application only to the extent of allowing the security agency to keep the respondent in custody for only 45 days for the applicant to conclude its investigation. He said, although the hearing of the application was one-sided as provided by Section 27, subsection 1 of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act, the use of the word may in the provision is directory and not discretionary. He said he would therefore be failing in his duty not to grant the request for a detention order. He also said should the applicant require more time to conclude its investigation after the expiration of the first 45 days, it had the liberty to apply for its renewal. The Kaduna State government has ordered leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, and his wife Zinat to produce two prominent and reliable persons as a surety, being one of the conditions the couple must fulfill before they would be allowed to leave the state for overseas treatment. Reports have it that the government said one of the sureties must be a first-class chief or emir of national repute, and the other a prominent person within Kaduna State who shall undertake to produce the defendants whenever they are needed. The Kaduna government also said it respects the court's ruling granting permission to the couple to travel to India for treatment. Commissioner Internal Security and Home Affairs Samuel Aruwan disclosed this in a statement in Kaduna. Quoting the statement, an appeal will be lodged on the matter, but a stay of execution will not be sought, as the state government believes that a person may choose to travel abroad for any medical condition at his own cost. He said the government respects the right of anyone to seek treatment and anywhere in the world, even for malaria or common cold, so long as they are paying for it. But in the case of persons facing trial for serious offenses, necessary safeguards are required to ensure that such persons do not become fugitives from justice or frustrate trial by claiming asylum or the status of political prisoner in the host country. According to him, In compliance with the court ruling, the state government has filed at the Kaduna High Court terms for strict supervision of the medical leave granted El-Zazaki. Under the terms, the state government wants the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to confirm the appointments of the applicants with the Medanta Hospital, India, among other conditions. Recall that the Kaduna High Court on August 5 granted El-Zazaki and his wife leave to travel out of Nigeria for urgent medical treatment at Medanta Hospital, India. And Imo State Governor Emeka Ihedioha has sworn in 17 commissioners to serve as his cabinet members. At the swearing-in ceremony on Wednesday in Owerri, the state capital, Governor Ihedioha charged them to work diligently towards restoring Imo State to its original pride and making it a model. We have more on the ceremony.
Ihianjoku Conventional Center, Owerri, venue of the event, was filled to capacity with government officials, family members, friends and well-wishers of the appointees. Governor Emeka Ihedioha, while addressing the new commissioners and 2 special advisors, urged them to key into the vision of regaining Imo State. According to the governor, my government will not hesitate to replace anyone who fails to perform his duty.
Having been chosen from amongst millions of young, experienced Imolites and beyond, you must therefore be committed and fair in the discharge of your duties. You must be team players and eschew corruption. If you underperform in the exercise of your duties, I will not hesitate to replace you.
Some of the new commissioners, Viola Adakwo Onwulere for Education, Vin Udoku for Health, among others. Commissioner for Education, Viola Onwulere, spoke on behalf of others, pledging to work towards rebuilding Imo State.
His Excellency, for offering us opportunity to serve our people. We represent different interests, and we're going to be there for them, for the women, for the men, and different groups. We are going to serve all of them in whatever capacity or portfolio we are given.
The governor urged the people to exercise patience since the government is making drastic efforts towards cycling the poor infrastructural situation in the state.
The Kogi State House of Assembly commenced the process to remove the state deputy governor Simon Achuba from office. The governors and the deputy for some time now have been having a cold war, which has seemingly paralyzed the office of the deputy governor in the last 3 years. However, the majority leader of the assembly, Honorable Abdullahi Bello of the All Progressives Congress, representing Ajaokuta State constituency, read the petition for the removal before lawmakers on the floor of the assembly. The lawmakers, however, hastened their petition on 3 grounds of criminal indulgence, financial misappropriation, and non-performance. The majority leader, who affirmed that 21 out of the 25 lawmakers signed the petition, said the allegations, actions, and utterances of the deputy governor amounted to gross misconduct. He cited Section 188 of 1999 Constitution and thereafter prayed the assembly to commence investigation towards the move to remove the deputy governor. The Assembly Speaker Kolawole Matthew agreed to the prayers in the petition and asked that the petition be served on the deputy governor to respond within the 14-day time frame of the law. Achuba last week at a press conference had alleged that his life was in danger. The House of Representatives has thwarted the ruling of an Abuja Federal High Court restraining the National Assembly and its agent from taking over the Edo State Assembly until the determination of a pending suit before it in a reaction. The chairman, House Committee on Media, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, said the ruling poses a problem to the principle of separation of powers and that the National Assembly will surely appeal. Kalu, in his words, say this 9th House believes in the democratic principle of separation of powers, which is why the court ruling poses a problem. It is a core constitutional duty of the National Assembly that the court has attempted to prevent. The chairman, House Committee on Media, say no arm of the government is supposed to abdicate power to another arm, adding that it is contrary to the doctrine of separation of powers that one arm of government should prevent another arm from carrying out its constitutional duty. He added that as a substantive approach, he urges judges considering constitutional questions to grant substantial deference to the views of the elected arms of government and invalidate their actions only when constitutional limits have clearly been violated. He said, though they must respect it for now, the National Assembly will surely appeal the ruling. And a high-power delegation from Adamawa State has paid a courtesy call on President Muhammadu Buhari. The group led by the state governor Amadou Fintiri said they will at the State House to express gratitude for the reappointment of 3 illustrious sons of Adamawa State. Our correspondent now completes the story.
They are the Secretary to the Government of Federation, Boss Mustafa, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Domestic Affairs, Seriki Abba, and the Minister Designate from Adamawa State, Muhammad Bello. The group equally made the request for the upgrade of the University of Technology, Yola, to a conventional university by returning all relevant courses and the Federal Medical Center, Yola, to a teaching hospital to be affiliated to the proposed federal university.
Implications for the larger society are serious. First, Mauteg Yola is located in the northeast region, a region just emerging from a growing insurgency that has been expressly anti-education. Secondly, the insurgency and generalized insecurity on the roads has discouraged parents from sending their wards to neighboring conventional university that should ordinarily observe the candidates out of fear. To cut a long story short, Mr. President, sir, technology and management are like siamese twins. The stoppage of the popular courses will lead to further underdevelopment of an already educationally disadvantaged, impoverished states, severely devastated by insurgents and insecurity. Mr. President, sir, owing to Adamawa State lowest human development indices with respect to healthcare services, it is also necessary to increase access to tertiary health, thereby making the need for a teaching hospital. Imperatively, currently, there are only 2 teaching hospitals in the northeast, located in Bauchi and Maiduguri.
Responding, President Buhari thanked the group for the courtesy visit, pledging to see to the request put before him. Answer questions from newsmen on whether or not the Adamawa delegation visit has any political undertone, Governor Fitiri said the time for politics is over and it's time for development programs, saying the group has come to stay where problems will be solved.
Today we are not talking about election, we are talking about governance. And really, we've come to see Mr. President, and if you see from the cream of the personalities that we came, they cut across party line and ethnic nationality. We looked at ourselves first as Adamawa, and 2, our problem concerns us, and we've come to where it will be solved. And inshallah, we've made our cry loud, and it will be solved by Mr. President.
You're watching Clearview Television News. The news will continue shortly after this timeout.
I'm very delighted. I'm happy to be at Clearview. Like the name implies, everything is quite clear here. I enjoy all Nigerians to continue to enjoy the very clear opportunity of broadcasting. And I said, Clearview, well done, please keep it up. Clearview is it. Don't change that channel. Enjoy it.
Welcome back. For the umpteenth time, Nigerian youth have been reminded of the negative effects of illicit drugs on them and the society at large. Former Head of State General Yakubu Gowon has again appealed to all relevant actors in the country to help in the fight to curb the huge social menace caused by the consumption of illicit drugs by orientating the nation's future leaders to keep off. Addressing the second National Youth Conference on Drug Abuse in Abuja this Thursday, General Gowon, who was represented by his son Ibrahim, said the time has come for all to join hands with the government to put a halt to the increasing rate of substance abuse among youth in the country. Our correspondent, Ifeoluwa Ishola, has more.
Over the past year alone, around 14.3 million people reportedly experienced a considerable level of use of psychoactive drug substances. The survey led by Nigerian National Bureau of Statistics and the Center for Research and Information of Substance Abuse with technical support from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime reported that the highest level of drug users is among people aged between 25 and 35, which according to United Nations are called youth. Reflecting on the glory picture painted by the survey results, the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, represented here by his son Ibrahim, wants the federal government to take all necessary steps in collaborating with willingly relevant actors to fight the menace that is growing rapidly among Nigerian youth.
Today, therefore, marks a watershed in our nation's fight on the menace of drug abuse. With this in mind, we should appeal to the government, the private sector, civil society, religious, traditional, and the international communities to garner their support and help drive this initiative. One sincerely hopes that the federal government accordingly maximizes the opportunity presented today by reaching out to similar non-state actors who are willing and also have the capacity to complement this conference's commendable effort at stemming the tide of illicit drug use.
The keynote speaker, Brigadier General Muhammad Mawa, also represented by Dr. Martin Amodu, agreed no less with the submission of the elder statesman.
There is no denying the fact that government has to take a lead in righting most wrongs in the society, an obligation which stems from its constitutional responsibility to provide, secure, and guarantee the well-being of citizens. It has, however, dawned on us that government is unable to provide all the answers. It therefore behooves on us as responsible citizens to help government achieve this goal.
Speaking with Clearview Television, some participants at the conference advised their fellow young Nigerians to keep off illicit drugs so that they can be more productive in advancing the growth of the country.
My advice for youth is that they should never go into it, no matter the situation is.
In whatever way they can or they could, they should please abstain from drug abuse.
Drug or substance abuse refers to the use of certain chemicals for the purpose of creating pleasurable effects on the brain. There are over 190 million drug users around the world, and the problem has been increasing at an alarming rate, especially among young adults under the age of 30. Ifeoluwa Ishola, reporting for Clearview Television.
The Nigerian Customs Service Area 2 Command on near Port Harcourt, Rivers State, has arrested 5 suspects over smuggling of tramadol and other banned drugs. Customs Controller Aliu Seidu, while parading the confiscated items before media men, said the suspect who transloaded the drugs from a container at the port into a jeep tried to bribe customs officials who arrested them. And
it was indeed a harvest of arrest by the Oyo Osun Command, as the command is poised towards ensuring that no stone is left unturned. The command makes it sure of 3,252 bags of imported parboiled rice, 319 25 kg liters of vegetable oil, 36 bale of second-hand clothing, 61 used tires, and 6 exotic cars.
The command has ensured that it leaves no stone unturned in combating smuggling and the challenges posed by smugglers as we continue to intensify our intelligence and operational strategies in the course of suppressing smuggling and generating more revenue.
The area controller Abdullahi Zulkifli, called on Nigerian youths to take advantage of the President Muhammadu Buhari's agricultural initiative. He said that no fewer than 35 persons were arrested by the command for smuggling, 5 of which are currently facing the wrath of the law.
Suspects, 30 are on administrative bail, 5 are already in court. Generally, as I said earlier, the dangers posed by smuggling is enormous. 1, we have abandoned the land because most of the items, as you see here, about almost 90% is Fabon rice. So which means we rely on foreign supply. We have land that we can cultivate and be useful to ourselves.
The command also revealed that they made a sum of 23,878,395,000 for the first 7 months of the year 2019.
The National Anti-Corruption Strategy Nigeria (NSCS) has called on all Nigerians to join hands in the government's fight against corruption to ensure the development of the country. The Executive Secretary, Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Sadiq Rada, made the call this Thursday in Abuja at the policy dialogue on the role of stakeholders in the implementation of the anti-corruption strategy. Clearview TV's Uju Onyemechalu now reports.
According to analysts, corruption in its many forms remains one of the most significant obstacles to progress in Nigeria. It promotes underdevelopment, lack of trust in the public service, and weakens the legitimacy of public institutions, encourages selfish tendencies among the elites, and distorts incentives in the private sector. At the policy dialogue, the Executive Secretary, Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Sadiq Rada, says a lot still needs to be done in various ministries, departments, and agencies, which many Nigerians often perceive to be the center point of corruption.
Without tackling corruption, this country will not make the desired progress. But I want to say that upon studying the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, I've realized that we have a lot of work to do, especially with the kind of ministries, departments, and agencies we have in Nigeria. What do I mean? What I mean is that the ministries, departments, and agencies are the center points of corruption, but the National Anti-Corruption Strategy has given them a lot of responsibilities as far as the fight against corruption is concerned.
Welcoming participants, Olaide Dayo of MacArthur Foundation urged stakeholders not to allow the strategic policies designed to keep corruption at bay to become a mere document. Rather, Dayo wants implementation of the anti-corruption strategies to be treated with utmost priority.
Corruption is a problem in our country and it affects everybody. Unfortunately, many of us, whether directly or indirectly, we encourage it, we allow it, we permit it, and we do nothing about it. Societies that have been able to make progress in the fight against corruption did not do so just because the political class decided to fight against corruption. They did so when the society, not just government alone, when the society was able to say to themselves, enough is enough, and therefore rose against corruption. If we do not begin to make a demand on the basis of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, it will remain nothing but mere documentation.
The head Technical Unit on Governance and Anti-Corruption Reforms, TUGA, Lilian Eke Anyanwu, believes the strategic policies provide an entry point for all sectors to key into the fight against graft. She provided further insights on the 5 pillars on which the anti-corruption policies stand.
The vision that we shared and which was also captured as part of the document is to produce and implement a strategic approach to the fight against corruption that will provide entry points for all sectors and all citizens in the fight against corruption. The strategy itself has 5 pillars. Some of them generic in that they are the pillars for the fight against corruption globally, but some specific to our own situation in Nigeria.
At the policy level, the objective of the 5-pillar strategy on anti-corruption is to put in place a system which promotes an increased alignment of private and public interests, while at the institutional level, the strategy aims to strengthen the effectiveness, efficiency, and synergy of the institutions, laws, and measures designed to prevent and combat corruption, as well as engage the public more actively. Uju Oyemechalo reporting for Clevy Television.
The acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu, has restated the commission's preparedness to assist the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria to recover over 5 trillion naira being owed it by individuals and companies. Magu renewed the commitment while receiving a delegation from AMCOM, led by its chairman Muiz Barnell, senior advocate of Nigeria, and its managing director Ahmed Kuru, who came on a familiarization visit to the EFCC headquarters, Jabi, Abuja. He said the commission will render assistance in terms of enforcement in order to recover the loans, as the refusal of the beneficiaries to repay the loans is affecting the economy of the country. While expressing the resolve of the anti-graft agency to recover the money, Magu further called for collaboration and a re-evaluation of the modus operandi of the corporation. And the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has commenced the distribution of agro-inputs worth 150 million naira to farmers mostly affected by the 2018 flooding and erosion within the territory. At the flag-off of the distribution exercise, the FCTA Permanent Secretary Christian Oha restated the territory's commitment to support the growth of the agricultural sector in line with the policy thrust of the federal government to revitalize agriculture in the country. Our correspondent Anita Patrick has more.
Some of the inputs procured for distribution to farmers are rice, cowpea, cashew, teak, and all palm seedlings, while the poultry inputs include chicks and feed. The Permanent Secretary, Christian Oha, urged farmers to observe some basic practices that can help to minimize the effects of flooding, especially those on riverbanks, in order to avoid any form of construction that will impede the flow of water. Oha hinted that already this year, the administration has provided funding to the committee for the procurement of a variety of agricultural inputs to help the farmers in rebuilding their lost investments. He said it was against this backdrop that the administration set up a joint committee from the Agriculture and Rural Development Secretariat and the FCT Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, to urgently address the problem.
Findings have shown that farmers have engaged in activities without recourse to proper environmental assessment. Similarly, the arbitrary erection of structures by farmers has in most cases impeded the free flow of water, resulting in overflow of natural water channels and riverbanks. Let me also emphasize at this point that there is a need for farmers to observe some basic practices that can help to minimize the effect of flooding, especially those on riverbanks, in order to avoid any form of construction that will impede the flow of water.
The chairman of the Implementation Committee, who is also the acting Secretary, Agriculture and Rural Development in the FCT, Olufemi Folari, assured that the committee would carry out the assignment with all its possible best to ensure that the objective is achieved. He therefore urged the farmers to always seek the advice of professional extension workers in order to get advice on effective agricultural practices.
In order to ensure the success of this initiative, the committee deployed a team of extension workers and agri-field engineers to areas affected by this flooding and areas close to flooding, so that they can deploy their expertise in advising farmers of measures to take to reduce this flooding and its effect on the farm.
Thank God, may God give us long life, and everybody that they have this problem, may God help so that government will give them all, and so that God will give us long life, and all the problem may God avoid all those problems in the country for us. I appreciate FCT administration. We thank God for everything. May God continue giving them what they will give the mercy, and may God continue give them long life.
The FCT administration stated that the feedback received from the 6 area councils on the 2018 intervention informed the decision to not only approve the continuity of the program but to also expand the scope of coverage of the intervention from the initial 3 area councils of Abaji, Kwali and Kuje to all the 6 area councils of the FCT this year. It commended the extension workers of the FCT for their efforts in stepping down training to rural farmers on the adoption of good agricultural practices, particularly as it relates to flood and erosion control in farmlands. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Clearview Television.
And ahead of the 2019 Christian pilgrimage to Israel, the Benue State chapter of the Christian and Church Leaders Consultative Forum this Thursday visited the headquarters of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission (NCPC) to familiarize itself with ongoing arrangements for the exercise for onward communication to their members and followers. Now the report. Receiving the delegation, the NCPC Executive Secretary Reverend Uja Tor Uja, who canvassed common goals for Christians in Nigeria, said work on the Pilgrim Heritage House is in progress, and when completed, will enable churches of various denominations to host their programs, as it has capacity to accommodate over 51,000 people. Reverend Tor Uja said the successes recorded so far by the Commission on the Pilgrim exercise were made possible by the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. He said the Commission looks forward to achieving a level where pilgrims return to the country with a better view of life and how to bring about development in the country.
I believe that all Christians have come to a time when they must prove their Christianity. Christianity separates. Christianity gives a ministry. Christianity enables everybody to have something to do for God and something to do in society. So every Christian should rise up to be counted to do something for the furtherance of our great nation. In pilgrimage, the decision is clear. We are going to run pilgrimage with the Word of God, without denominational biases, or without any tribal or regional arrangements at all. The Word of God will be given priority, and we believe that pilgrimage will be a vital element in the reshaping of our nation.
The Executive Secretary, who called on all the political parties in Nigeria to work in unity to attain the desired development for the country, also advised churches and their leaders to embrace peace and provide positive direction for the interests of the country.
Elections are over. Let Nigerians end campaigns and join hands for development. We cannot build a nation with an ending campaign life. Even after elections, campaigns are supposed to precede elections. After elections, what proceeds is development and service. And it is the norm of any great nation that whatever party is in power or is in opposition, or whatever name it's called, all the parties are supposed to bring themselves together to provide development, good governance, and advancement for the people.
Speaking on the essence of the courtesy visit, Chairman of the Consultative Forum, Bishop Nathan Yor, said it is to congratulate the Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Christian Pilgrim Commission and pray with him to ensure that he succeeds in his new assignment. He commended President Muhammadu Buhari for finding Reverend Uja worthy to occupy the office. The bishop seized the occasion to stress the need for all to work together to bring about lasting peace in the country.
We have no doubt in our hearts that you will be able to provide quality leadership, that will be able to give guidance and direction to this exalted office that the Lord has committed to your care. Permit me at this hour to thank the President for finding one of us worthy to assign him this great responsibility.
The Executive Secretary is hopeful that with the cooperation of all stakeholders, the the 2019 Christian pilgrimage exercise in Israel will be a huge success. The bridge linking the hostels and lecture halls of the school curved and killed 3 students. The management of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University ABTU Bauchi has pointed accusing fingers at the dead, claiming the collapsed bridge was not built for people to stand and take selfies. The bridge linking the hostels and lecture halls of the school caved and killed 3 students. The institution's Vice-Chancellor, Muhammad Abdulaziz, said the management felt that it was necessary to construct a metal bridge for between 10 and 15 people at a time. It was not meant for static loads, but for dynamic loads. That means you don't stand on it, you just pass. The reports we received from some of the students were that when the rain had stopped and the students were about crossing, they found the scene excellent for them to take selfies. So they started from 2, and before you could realize it, there were more than 30 students on the bridge standing. And that bridge was not meant for people to stand, he added. Some of the students could not pass and had to also stand, and the bridge suddenly collapsed, and that was how we lost 3 students. Based on our records, no student is missing for now. 3 students, 2 from Kogi State and 1 from Benue State, were confirmed dead. 2 females and a male, and they were all from the Department of Business, Education and Management Studies. And kidnapped Enugu monarch Igwe Sunday Oji of Obom Bogugu Agwu local government area and his wife Alice have been rescued. A family source said they regained freedom on Wednesday night. They were kidnapped last Sunday evening just after the Agwogugu Ihe Junction along the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway while they were returning from the reception and Thanksgiving Mass in honor of the mother of the Catholic Bishop of Agwu Diocese. They were kidnapped at the very Aziz where Reverend Father Paul Ofu was shot dead 3 days earlier. The Agwu Aziz on Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway has become a hotbed of kidnappers and armed robbers. The kidnappers, suspected to be herdsmen, had in their initial contact with the family demanded 50 million naira ransom. The latter brought the amount down to 20 million naira. Enugu Police Command spokesman, Superintendent Ebere Amaz Riazu, confirmed the release of the monarch and his wife. And on the entertainment segment, a media personality Toke Makinwa has been speaking on why she decided to remain single, at least for now. Also, music star Techno, who had reported to the State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department alongside the women embroiled in the transparent truck incident, is said to have been allowed to go due to his poor health. Plus, Nollywood actress Afunke Akindele Bello's newfound dream as a movie director. For these and more, let's now join our entertainment correspondent Cecilia Okoli.
According to Toke Makinwa, her decision to stay single is not because she has a shortage of men at her beck and call, but because she wants something special. And what is it? Well, let's hear her. First, I am single as a dollar bill, but not as a result of the scarcity of men, but by choice. I love me too much to share me with anyone till I find someone who is worth it, she tweeted. She also went to tweet about marriage, which for her is a beautiful institution, using her parents' union for an example. Toke Makinwa is famous for her social media posts, where she bluntly speaks about her expectations in a relationship. Fans and critics are no newcomers to Toke's post on social media, so these twists don't seem to surprise anyone. The music star Techno, who had reported to the State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department alongside the women embroiled in the transparent truck incident, has been allowed to go because of his poor health. According to reports, Techno and the ladies involved in the naked video were all grilled for hours by men of the Nigerian police force. The Deputy Commissioner of Police, DPC, Mrs. Yetunde Longe, told newsmen that the singer could not be detained because of his health condition. This is coming less than 24 hours after it was reported that Techno had arrived the police command in Lagos for questioning. These were reports that Tekno was at the Criminal Investigation Department of the Nigerian Police Force to answer questions over the nude women dancing in a transparent truck in public some days ago. According to blogger Linda Ikeji, the music star is said to have arrived at the police command to answer questions on Tuesday, August 6, 2019, over the transparent truck which caused an outrage some days ago in Lagos. The spokesman for the police command, Bala Elkanah, however, says he does not know if Tekno will be charged to court yet because he is still under investigation. It will be recalled that Tekno caused a major commotion on the Lekki axis of Lagos a few days ago when he was spotted with some naked women dancing in transparent truck. And finally, Funke Akindele makes her first directorial debut in Your Excellency. Ebony Live Films recently announced the production of the new movie Your Excellency and says it is a partnership between Funke Akindele Bello and the production company. Your Excellency has been tagged a social media-driven political comedy and is scheduled for release in December 2019. Speaking from the set, the Jennifer star said the movie has a great script, excellent cast, and an experienced production team, and that she is looking forward to making the best possible film. She expressed her joy and excitement working with Mo Abudu again. Written by Yinka Ogun with Isioma Osaje and James Amuta producing, Your Excellency also featured Lala Akindoju, Shafi Bello, Kunle Kuka, Alex Ekubo, Sheyi Law, among others. Mo Abudu, the movie's executive producer, says her reason for working with Funke Akindele Bello is because of her knack for telling good stories and that they are happy to have Funke Akindele at the helms directing her first feature. Cecilia Okoli reporting for Clearview Television.
And away from Nigeria now to the shores of the United States of America, where the U.S. immigration officials have arrested almost 700 people after a series of raids in the state of Mississippi. The coordinated operations targeted workers at 7 agricultural processing plants who allegedly did not have proper documentation. Videos and photos showed agents arriving in buses to question and arrest the people. Some children were taken to a local gym after they came home to find their parents gone. Immigration and Customs Enforcement said approximately 680 removable aliens had been detained. About 600 ICE agents arrived at the chicken processing plants owned by 5 different companies in the towns of Bay Springs, Canton, Carthage, Morton, Pelhahati, and Sebastopol. President Donald Trump had in June announced an immigration crackdown, saying millions of illegal aliens who had found their way into the U.S. would be removed. The raids took place just hours before Trump arrived in the majority Latino city of El Paso to mark a mass shooting, which left 22 people dead. And you're watching Clearview Television News. Next is sports.
Juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side.
Hello and welcome to the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Oguntimei Tolulapa Oguntimei. The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development has named a 562-man contingent for the forthcoming African Games in Morocco. The Permanent Secretary Olushade Adeshola said the contingent will be made up of 462 athletes, coaches, medical and administrative support staff for the Games, while a guest list of 100 will make it 562. The report. With less than 11 days to the kickoff of African Games in Morocco, the Sports Ministry has revealed the list of contingent to the Games. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sport, Olushade Adeshola, said revealing the number of contingent travelling for the Games is important in view of different numbers being bandied around.
The federations have conducted a series of closed and open trials to assess the athletes' level of preparation and select possible podium athletes that will represent the nation at the Games. Nigeria will present a contingent size of 462 athletes, coaches, medical and administrative support staff to the Games. The resources of the ministry could, however, only support 100 additional guests.
He went further to say the federal government has approved funds for the Games.
There has been concern raised in some quarters, particularly the foreign based athletes, on payments of allowances. I want to reassure that His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari GCFR approved funds to pay allowances of athletes and officials, while at the Games Village, offshore training grant to desirable athletes, return tickets for foreign athletes, and winning bonuses. Furthermore, the general equipment for the Games is being procured by the ministry.
He, however, urged the athletes to put Nigeria first, not thinking only about their own interests alone, because at one point or the other, the country has assisted them in one way or the other.
While your participation affords you the opportunity to be reckoned with in the sports record of Nigeria, the ultimate beneficiary is yourself, as your impressive participation will indeed open the door to greater personal benefits to you. Hence, unlike other ventures, this opportunity for you to be able to represent this nation is a gateway to greater social benefits. Note that without this platform that the nation gives, the cost of life of most of our accomplished athletes today would not have been the way they are. Many will not have even had the opportunity to leave their village or the shores of the country. Hence, I enjoin you to reciprocate this opportunity by your commitment, discipline, submission, and obedience. Do not denigrate your support base.
The African Games will serve as qualifier for some sporting events of Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The African Games will serve as qualifier for some sporting events of Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Golden Eagles will resume training camp in Abuja on Tuesday, August 13, ahead of the 2019 Under-17 FIFA World Cup in Brazil. The coach Manu Gaba led the Eagles are also slated for an invitational tournament in Turkey between September 20 to 28. The tournament is aimed at preparing the five-time world champions for the Under-17 World Cup in Brazil, which will kick off on October 26. The Eagles, who placed fourth at this year's Under-17 AFCON in Tanzania, have been drawn against Hungary, Ecuador, and Australia in the first round. They opened their World Cup campaign on October 26 against Hungary. The FIFA inspection team, which arrived in Nigeria on Monday on an inspection tour of facilities for the hosting of the 2020 edition of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, has expressed satisfaction at the state of facilities in Benin City and Asaba. Nigeria is bidding to host the tournament alongside India and South Korea. India, however, is out of contention as they were handed hosting right to the 2020 edition of the Under-17 Women's World Cup. Nigeria last hosted the FIFA tournament 10 years ago when the country hosted the Cadet Under-17 World Cup for boys. The FIFA inspection team, which included Christopher Exley, Sarah Jean Boot, Clement Taseki, Riano Sewen Martin, and Evra Kai Jogging, were conducted around the facilities in Benin City and Asaba on Tuesday. They were joined on the tour by Nigeria's bid coordinator, Malami Zazara Ilo, and officials of the Nigeria Football Federation, including its president, Amaju Pinnick, Aisha Falode, head of Women's Football League, and Ruth David, head of Women's Football at the Federation. The FIFA and NFF officials were conducted around facilities, which included the Samuel Gbemuda Stadium, practice pitches at the Western Boys High School, one of the mini stadia the government is building for the event, and the Protea Hotel by Edo State Sports Commission Chairman Godwin Dudurume, and other officials of the commission. The FIFA team later paid a courtesy visit to Governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, who assured them that the state was not only willing to host the matches of the tournament, but was more than capable of doing so. Obaseki, who said the revamp of the Samuel Gbemuda Stadium, which is near completion, will host various local and international sporting events, also noted that the state is building 20 mini stadia across the state to boost sporting activities. The governor added that the fiber optic cables, which laid across Benin City metropolis, will provide the infrastructure to broadcast matches, adding that the Benin Specialist Hospital will provide the needed medical services. In Asaba, Delta Governor Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa assured FIFA officials that they do not need to worry about venue for the tournament at the Stephen Keshi Stadium. Asaba will serve as an excellent venue. Okowa expressed readiness of the state government to provide any further improvement in the facilities as might be necessary to make the stadium the best venue for the competition. Oya Sports of Suleja Wednesday got promoted to Nigeria National League after beating Vetrovers of Jos 2-0 in the playoff held in Kaduna. Osman Silla, the owner of the club, has been solid in terms of financing the club from Amateur 2 to Amateur 1, and the team has been promoted to NNL. The team has played in 2 consecutive cadre, having been promoted from Amateur 2 to Amateur 1, now to play in the NNL. The team representative and agent, Oluseyi Tosin, also known as Ronaldo, said yes when we got promoted to the NNL. It is a dream come true. This is what we have been looking for 2 years now. When we were in Amateur 2, we set a target for Amateur 1, which we achieved, and now we play in the NNL. Don't forget that we now have 2 teams in NNL from Niger State, Niger Tornadoes and Niger Sports. Once more, it is a dream come true for the team, it concluded. Liverpool FC loanee Taiwo Awoniyi is looking forward to playing for German Bundesliga outfit FSV Mainz 05. The 21-year-old striker is expected to start training with his new teammates for the first time on Thursday afternoon. Awoniyi spent the second round of last season on loan with Belgian side Royal Ezel Mouscron from English giant Liverpool. The Nigerian under-23 international scored 7 goals in 9 Pro League matches. Awoniyi lauded the Bundesliga as one of the top leagues in Europe. I'm looking forward to my time at Mainz 05, Awoniyi said. The talks with those in charge were very good, and I received a very warm welcome from everyone here. The Bundesliga is one of the top European leagues, and I'm grateful that I'm able to prove myself here. Awoniyi has joined Cameroonian midfielder Pierre Koundé Malong at Mainz 05. Inter Milan have reached an agreement with Manchester United to sign striker Romelu Lukaku for a fee that could rise to €80 million. In July, United rejected Inter's £54 million bid for Lukaku, who was fined by the club after missing training on Tuesday. 26-year-old Belgian international Lukaku has trained at his former team Anderlecht for the past 2 days. Lukaku's agent, Federico Pastorello, flew to London on Wednesday in an attempt to resolve Lukaku's future. Later that evening, Pastorello posted a photo on Instagram of them on board a private jet with a caption, "Ready to take off, direction Milano." United and Inter Milan had been some way apart in the evaluation, with United wanting to recoup at least the £75 million they paid to Everton 2 years ago. Inter and fellow Serie A side Juventus have been competing to sign Lukaku, who did not play in pre-season because of an ankle injury. Inter manager Antonio Conte, who wanted to sign Lukaku when he was Chelsea boss, has said he remains his number 1 target, adding, "I consider him a player who can improve our team." And that's it from the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Ogutimehin Tolulakwa Ogutimehin.
There it is. What a shot from Tiger. And the Jamaican juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side. And
And welcome back. And that's all for the news, but before we go, a recap of our top stories. The Nigerian Army has blamed mistaken identity by soldiers for the killing of 3 policemen and a civilian after a police team had arrested a suspected kidnap kingpin in Taraba State. Nigeria's wartime hero and elder statesman, General Yakubu Gowon, has called for stronger measures and collaboration of all Nigerians to save the nation's future generation from the malady of drug abuse. And United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials have arrested about 700 illegal migrants following a raid in 5 towns in the state of Mississippi. And that's the news. Remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel via Clearview TV, and like us on Facebook via Clearview Television. Follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online. Follow us on Instagram at ClearviewTV_NG. You can also watch Clearview TV on Nigecomsat with any free-to-air decoder. For details, contact your local installer. I am Rose Audu. Many thanks for joining us.